The most agonizing conclusions don't always happen in front of the cameras. They happen in silence, behind closed doors, where no producer can cut the tension, no spotlight can disguise the pain, and no audience can witness the tears. After decades of appearing inseparable, Mauricio Umansky and Kyle Richards are confronting a chapter neither of them ever expected. Fans are asking the painful question, is this really the end? After Mauricio made a heartbreaking decision that left Kyle in tears, tonight we walk through the private story behind that choice. A story about love, identity, family, and the courage it takes to face change. This isn't just about celebrity heartbreak. It's about what happens when real life collides with reality TV, and even the strongest marriages are tested by time. For years, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky were the definition of love goals. Their journey, from their 1996 wedding to raising 4 beautiful daughters, seemed like a modern-day fairy tale. He built a luxury real estate empire. She became one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills' most beloved stars. Together, they were unstoppable, a power couple rooted in trust, humor, and deep affection. Fans adored their dynamic, Mauricio's charm, Kyle's wit, and their genuine chemistry that made them feel like the most relatable couple in Beverly Hills. They were proof that fame and love could coexist. But behind the glimmering lights of Bravo and the red carpet smiles, cracks began to form, quietly, subtly, and painfully. Living under constant public scrutiny takes a toll. The cameras catch everything, except the exhaustion. For Kyle and Mauricio, the challenge was never love, it was balance. Their lives became intertwined with fame, business, and expectations. Mauricio's success with the agency came with constant travel and pressure. Kyle, meanwhile, was navigating her own identity beyond the show. As a mother, actress, and woman redefining herself in midlife. Friends noticed the shift before the headlines did. Behind the laughter and lavish parties, Kyle's smile sometimes didn't reach her eyes. And Mauricio, ever the optimist, began to sense the emotional distance between them. Finally, after months of tension and unspoken sadness, Mauricio sat down with Kyle one evening at their Encino home. He told her something she never expected to hear. He needed space, not from love, but from the pain of pretending everything was perfect. It's not about losing love, he told her softly. It's about finding peace again, for both of us. Kyle was devastated. For years, she believed they could overcome anything: rumors, stress, public speculation. But this felt different. This felt final. In the quiet of their bedroom, as Mauricio spoke words she couldn't stop, Kyle's eyes filled with tears. She realized the man who had always been her home was making a choice she couldn't control. Mauricio explained that he couldn't bear to see her lose herself, that their arguments, silences, and misunderstandings were slowly breaking them both. He loved her too much to let that continue. Imagine leaving someone not because you stopped loving them, but because you love them too much to keep hurting them. That was Mauricio's heartbreak. To him, this was sacrifice. To Kyle, it felt like the ground had been pulled out from under her. That night, Kyle sat alone in her dressing room, surrounded by framed photos of happier times. Family trips, red carpet premieres, and endless laughter. She thought back to their early days, the simple dinners in their first home, the late-night talks about dreams, and the chaos of raising daughters together. She realized that love hadn't vanished. It had just changed. And though she wept, not out of anger, but out of longing, she knew this was a turning point, a test of strength, identity, and self-worth. The tears she shed that night were the kind every spouse knows, the kind that come when you realize that sometimes love alone isn't enough to keep everything the same. But through the heartbreak, Kyle felt something stir within her, a quiet, fierce strength. She remembered who she was, not just a wife, or a Bravo icon, but a woman who had always risen, no matter the storm. When news broke of their separation, fans around the world were in disbelief. Messages of love and support poured in from those who had followed their story for years. One fan wrote, "Kyle and Mauricio taught us what real partnership looks like. Even if this is the end, it's still a love story." Mauricio later released a heartfelt statement. "I never wanted to hurt Kyle. She's the love of my life and always will be." Sometimes the hardest thing to do is what's best for both people. Those words reflected both pain and truth, that even in distance, love can remain. Now, as Kyle navigates this new chapter, filming RHOBH Season 14, balancing motherhood and rediscovering herself, she's learning to stand tall again. Yes, the nights are lonely. Yes, the memories sting. But she's finding power in vulnerability and grace in honesty. Mauricio and Kyle's story isn't over. It's just transforming. From a marriage once defined by unity to a bond now strengthened by respect, forgiveness, and time. Because sometimes love doesn't end. It simply changes form. And somewhere in Beverly Hills, as the city lights shimmer outside their separate homes, two hearts that once beat as one are learning how to heal, quietly, privately, and with the same love that started it all. The days that followed were unlike anything Kyle Richards had experienced before. The world outside was still spinning, camera crews calling, schedules packed, producers eager for her next RHOBH confessional, yet inside her heart, everything had gone quiet. The home that once rang with laughter now felt too large, too still. Even the scent of Mauricio's cologne, lingering faintly in the hallway, became a reminder of what she'd lost and what she might still be holding on to. For Kyle, life had always been about movement. The next episode, the next project, the next appearance. But now, for the first time in years, she was forced to stop, to feel, and it terrified her. When Season 14 filming resumed, producers gently asked if she wanted to address what was happening. Kyle hesitated. For a woman who had lived her life so publicly, the thought of exposing her pain felt unbearable. But she also knew her fans, her friends as she often called them, deserved the truth. So she sat down under the bright Bravo lights, hair and makeup perfectly done, yet her eyes said everything. "I'm not here to bash Mauricio," she began softly, her voice trembling. "He's been my best friend, my partner, and the father of my children. We shared a beautiful life, but sometimes people grow in different directions, and that's the hardest thing to accept." Her words were raw, unscripted, and deeply human. For once, there were no diamonds, no taglines, just a woman grappling with the unraveling of her life. Meanwhile, Mauricio was trying to adjust to his new normal. The man who once prided himself on keeping things together, deals, emotions, image, was suddenly alone with his thoughts. Nights at his bachelor apartment in West Hollywood felt longer than he expected. The clinking of wine glasses at dinners with friends couldn't drown out the quiet ache of missing the woman who had been his constant for nearly 3 decades. He scrolled through old photos, family vacations, anniversaries, random selfies from lazy Sunday mornings. "We really had it all," he whispered to himself one night, and he meant it. They had everything: success, laughter, daughters they adored. But what they no longer had was the simple peace of understanding each other. Mauricio tried to distract himself by diving into work at the agency, hosting open houses, and smiling through press appearances. But even his colleagues noticed that the spark was dimmer. "You can tell he's hurting," one insider told Bravo Daily Dish. "Mauricio's always been the guy who lights up a room. Lately, he's quieter, more reflective. It's like he's carrying a weight that can't be seen." Kyle's healing process took on a different rhythm. Some days she felt unstoppable, working out, meditating, spending time with her daughters. Other days, she would find herself crying in her car, listening to old love songs that reminded her of their wedding day. Her daughters, Farah, Alexia, Safia, and Portia became her greatest source of strength. "Mom, you've got this," Portia told her one morning. "Dad loves you. You love him. That doesn't just disappear." Kyle smiled through her tears. Out of the mouths of babes came the wisdom she needed most. Despite the separation, the couple continued to show a united front for their children. They attended family events together, smiled for photos, and even shared quiet dinners, though the air between them carried the delicate tension of unspoken love. Insiders close to the pair revealed that neither had ruled out reconciliation, but both understood that space was essential. "It's not over," said one friend. "They just need to rediscover who they are individually before they can figure out who they are together again." When RHOBH aired the first episode showing Kyle's emotional confession, fans flooded social media with support. Hashtags like Team Kyle and Respect Mauricio trended across platforms. Viewers were moved not by scandal, but by honesty. One fan tweeted, "This isn't gossip, this is growth." Kyle and Mauricio are showing what real love looks like when it's tested.